Now that all the big channels talked about it, basically reading stuff from the Cubase website, it's time for an honest review of Cubase 12.5, Cubase 13, Cubase 13 of course. And as you can tell from my little joke here, I think this upgrade is a bit mediocre. Far away from big innovations. But to be fair, we are still talking about Cubase, okay? It's just a software upgrade from 12 to 13. And I'm complaining on a very, very high level. So if you're new to the Cubase world, good choice, of course. And if you still cannot decide or you have decided not to upgrade, it's also fine because I can tell you what to do. I personally just upgraded because I think it works better for me to spend like €100 or $100, dollars, whatever, once a year instead of waiting many years and then have to spend much more money for a new full version. So I've upgraded, and the first thing I thought when I opened Cubase 13 for the first time was something like, wait, what, why? Because, wait for it, Cubase now has a new modern look. Oh, I love it. Every time a company tells you something like that, you know it's a marketing trick, okay? In a couple of years, they are going back to the more 3D look or whatever. And they will tell us, Cubase now has a new vintage look or a new retro look. Such things, however, they seem to work. People are going crazy because, now we are back to the Windows 8 like flat design. You remember Windows 8, right? You know how that ended. Anyway, that's not really my problem. That's now a different look. But my main problem with the new modern look is that I didn't ask for it. Okay, I didn't ask for it. Why do they change the UI? I'm kind of sad because I really liked Cubase 12 and how it looked. And I find this design change totally unnecessary. But you may have a different opinion, of course. It's just the UI. It's not that big of a deal. I know that. I will get used to it very soon, hopefully. But let me know in the comments what you think about the new design, the new modern design, and that you have no choice. Steinberg doesn't give you a choice. That's kind of sad for a software like Cubase. I think we should have the option to choose our template, our look, or style, whatever. And actually, that would be a really great feature, don't you think? So your opinion in the comments, please. And in the meantime, I will continue on the negative path for a while and talk about the most overrated feature in Cubase 13. Well, it first sounded like a good idea to have the channel settings, or channel strip, how I call it, in an extra panel on the left side of the screen next to the inspector panel. But now that I look at it, I'm not so sure if that's really such a big game changer. Everybody seems to freak out about it, but I'm not really sure. Of course, the big advantage is that you can keep the channel strip open while you're switching through the channels. You don't have to open and close separate windows. But on the other hand, everything is very small. I mean, everything is really small in Cubase now, weirdly enough. And you have to scroll through a divided menu to find all the options. But in order to make all the settings available, Steinberg came up with a very, very good idea. They just invented pop-up windows because it's always so much fun to work in pop-up windows. We all love pop-up windows, right? Well, I'm not so sure because, you can see it's a good idea, basically. And they tried really hard to make it work right. But only the future will tell if it's really a game changer or not. And most importantly, if you're new to Cubase, you must understand that the channel strip itself is not a new feature, okay? The only new thing is that the channel strip now can also live in the left sidebar. Well, and that this sidebar stays open while you click through the channels. And that's all, really. I mean, and the pop-up windows. So that's the most overrated feature in my opinion. And there's another very disappointing thing for guitar players, and that's the fact that the VST Amp Rack plugin still hasn't seen an upgrade. VST Amp Rack is the guitar simulator or the amp simulator in Cubase. It's basically a very good plugin. Many people use it, many people love it, but I also know that many guitar players are waiting for an upgrade since years. And they're right. If there's something in Cubase that really needs a facelift, it's not me. I need a facelift too, maybe. But no, it's the VST Amp Rack. And I was also hoping for a new version, to be honest. On the other hand, it's still a good plugin, and the only reason I'm mentioning it here is because I know that many people, many guitar players, asking for an upgrade for such a long time. So let's continue and finally move over onto a more positive path, to the more positive things in Cubase 13. What they didn't do for guitar players, they tried to do for singers, and introduced a new plugin, the Vocal Chain plugin. It's like a one plugin solution for a whole vocal chain, and I assume it's really, really good. But I also want to add that it was possible to do a really great vocal production in Cubase before we had Vocal Chain. And not everybody may be a big fan of such all-in-one solutions. But who am I to decide? I only make instrumental music, so I don't care about singers. But I do care about the most underrated feature in Cubase 13. Absolutely. It's crazy. It's really crazy. Because nobody really seems to talk about it. And this is really a game changer and something really big in Cubase. And I really wonder why the big channels seem to ignore it. Maybe because it's written down in the lower half of the Cubase website. I don't know. But hey, you can now mix MIDI tracks into groups. So far you could only do that with audio tracks. Now you can even mix MIDI tracks and audio tracks together in one group. A really big deal when you're mixing. And I think it also gives you better ways for things like parallel compression, for example. And you can see I'm excited about it. I'm excited. And I'm the only one. Let me adjust myself a little bit and calm down. But I'm also excited about the new Iconica Sketch library for the Hellion sonic instrument. It's an orchestral library with many articulations and a full symphonic orchestra. I totally get that not everybody is into it. Not everybody is interested in orchestral music or arranging symphonic parts, whatever. But I have written some orchestral pieces in the past. Maybe it's time for a revisit. And I think that Iconica Sketch is really, really good, although I didn't test it yet. So how can I say it's good? Because it's a Cubase stock plugin, and I think that all Cubase stock plugins are really, really top-notch. Also, I have seen that some big channels already tried to make Iconica Sketch a little bit smaller than it probably is. Like, for a free library, it's pretty good, stuff like that. They may have their reasons to say so, but I don't believe them. Also worth mentioning on the more positive side of Cubase 13 are the new Chord Pads. And again, Chord Pads are not new in Cubase, but they redesigned them. And this time, yes, I agree, it's a good redesign. Well done. Although I must confess that I don't use Chord Pads all too often. But who knows, maybe that's the right moment to check them out in one of my next videos. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to leave a comment. Let me know what you think about Cubase 13 and if my video here could help you with your decision to upgrade or not. Also, please don't forget to leave a like before you go. My name is Markus. You've been watching The Ground Noise. I thank you very much for your support and hope to see you soon in the next video.